Hello students, and welcome to the video lesson on how to succeed in an interview. We've talked about how to find and apply for jobs, and then what you should do during the interview process. Now let's talk about the steps that will help you succeed and eventually get that job that you so very desire. So what are we going to learn about? Well, our objectives for this video lesson: how to project a positive attitude and use good communication skills. How to follow up after a job interview. What are the next steps? And then the best method for accepting and rejecting employment offers and handling rejection if you are not picked. So let's dive in and find out. All right. First, preparation is the key. All right, it's not the will to succeed that matters, it's the will to prepare. Those that prepare are always in a better situation for a job or just any sort of goal in general. Okay, so what can you do to help succeed at the interview? Arrive on time, alone, and prepared. That's huge. Alone, you don't need mother or father or sibling, friend, or a significant other with you. You got to go in on your own and handle the business like you would at the job. Make sure you bring identification, your social security number, and relevant contact information. This is in case they do want to push forward and hire you. They need all documentation to prove that you are who you are. Okay, make sure you have a pen, paper, and 2 or more copies of your resume. You don't know who could be on the interview team. It could be somebody that did not have a chance to see your resume or your cover letter. So make sure you have a copy so that they can see it and review it during the interview process. Make sure you bring materials that show your credentials. Now, what are credentials? Credentials are any documents that support your qualifications for a job. These can be examples of outstanding work, awards and achievements, or just references in general. And then make sure you bring any notes about the company and prepared answers to the 10 most popular questions that you have found from an interview. Okay. Next, you want to dress for success. Appearance at an interview is paramount to giving a great first impression and includes a person's dress, their hygiene, or grooming and cleanliness. So here's some tips. Be well groomed, trim nails, clean teeth, neat hair. All right. You want to project yourself. We are our own business card. How we project ourselves is how people will see us. Make sure your facial hair is clean, trimmed, and or lined up. Some will say just make sure you're absolutely clean shaven, but if you do have facial hair, make sure it's lined up, trimmed, and looks professional. Wear very little makeup. Be professional in the amount that is applied. You don't want to overdo it. All right, be conservative. All right, less is more. Make sure you shower and groom before an interview to ensure cleanliness. All right, prepare yourself just like you were going to get up and go to work. Wear little to no cologne, perfume, or aftershave. An overpowering fragrance can be a turnoff for interviews, and some people can actually be allergic to it. So you don't want that to be a big talking point while you're in the interview. Okay. And then clothing. Make sure you have some sort of business attire, such as a dress shirt and pants, or a blouse and a dress. Clothing should fit properly. It should be clean and present a modest look. You don't want to be over the top. How does your attitude help you in the interview? Well, there's only 2 things in life a person can control: their actions and their attitude. Okay? Attitude is important for all job seekers, especially those seeking first-time employment or seeking employment that will really boost their career. Okay? So how do we boost our attitude? Just be positive. Show up to the interview with enthusiasm and interest in the company. Don't look at it as, are they going to like me? Walk into the building and ask yourself, are you going to like them? And if you think you're going to like them, be positive. And know, positive things happen to positive people. Make sure you're courteous, polite, and grateful to each person that you meet. Again, it's an opportunity. They're taking time out of their day and their work day to see if you fit into their model. And if you do, you'll get the job. All right? So again, be courteous, be polite, be grateful. Make sure you greet the interview with by their name and the proper prefix, Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Miss. All right, that goes a long way in respect. It means you want to get it correct. Okay. Make sure you start with a firm handshake, a smile, and eye contact. All right, firm handshake. You don't want it too tough, but you don't want it to be too dainty or too soft as well. Nice and firm. Let them know that you exist and that you appreciate them reaching out. Make sure you practice good manners and be respectful. No foul language, no burping, no bodily noises. Make sure however you would speak respectfully to a grandmother or an elderly family member or a stranger in public should be how you would want to impress a boss or a future boss. All right. And then make sure you let the interview take the lead in all situations. All right. Examples: when to sit, where to place your belongings. They should take care of that, and they will invite you to sit down. They will bring out your chair. They will invite you if you want a cup of coffee. All right. And they will lead you down the path. Let them lead you. So, speaking in an interview, how should you talk? Well, remember, it's 10% what you say and 90% how you say it. Most conflict or issues that people have in communication is reflective in their tone of voice, their mannerisms, their behavior, or their sarcasm. So it's not necessarily what you say, but it's how you say it. So be careful on how you speak, because people can be very different. Okay? So remember, communication skills will impact your first impressions. Here's how we can improve this communication. Speak clearly and purposely at a moderate pace. All right? Make sure you explain yourself. Okay? Make sure they understand. Loud enough to be heard, but not mumbling. Make positive and honest comments about teachers and former employers. Skip the negativity. The last thing a potential employer wants to hear is you talking bad about a previous experience. Right? They want positivity and someone that's going to work out of the problems at the place of employment. They don't want negativity to be brought in. Okay? And listen to understand. A lot of people listen to respond. All right? Listen to understand. All right? And be attentive. Give eye contact. Nod your head. All right? Really take in. Repeat what they say to yourself. All right? And ask questions if you do not understand. Okay? And most importantly, stay calm. Interviews are designed to get applicants to think on their feet and to problem solve. So expect the unexpected, but be calm. How would you handle that situation? Employers don't like someone that freaks out or that panics under pressure. All right? So stay calm, handle the question, do the best you can. All right? And then while you're answering all questions, make sure you make eye contact. All right? Make sure they know you're speaking to them and not at them or around them. All right? Eye contact is a direct way to show that you care. Okay? And just answer each question thoughtfully, calmly, and carefully. Okay. Well, what kind of questions are you going to see? Well, just know that there's going to be no specific right answers during an interview. Okay? Interviewers evaluate the reactions to the questions to spot resourcefulness, creativity, and attitude. Okay? So as long as you exemplify the fact that you can be resourceful, that you can be creative, that you can problem solve, and you can do it with a great attitude, how you say it is not going to matter. Answers to questions should cite personal qualifications using relevant skills, experience, and personal qualities. All right. So make sure anytime they talk about a job task, you mention any previous skills that you can apply to that particular situation. Okay? Cite your own experience. Okay? Now, if an interviewer happens to ask a non-job related question, just make sure you flip the response to focus on the skills in the relationship to the job that you're interviewing for. Right? You don't have to answer anything too personal if you don't want to. Right? It will eventually come out as you work. You'll be able to share some personal information with coworkers, but that should not be the basis for an interview style question. They should be looking at your job skills, all right, and how you fit in personality-wise in the growth of their company, and not just your personal life. One thing people are always afraid is to ask questions. Okay, asking questions to an interview shows your interest in the position, but it also ensures that the position is the right fit for the candidate or you. All right. How do you know if it's going to be a perfect job or a good job for you if you don't know the answers to your questions? You're going to walk in with a lot of uncertainty, and you might discover things that you do not like about a specific job or work environment. All right? Asking questions prevents that. Yeah. So what are some questions that you should ask employers? Well, here's a few. All right? What's a typical day like at the job? All right? This is where they'll describe tasks to you. What are the key skills needed for the success in the job? And they'll explain to you what they're looking for and what they feel would make a person successful at that particular job. What is the potential growth in this position? Is there a chance to move up or transition to another job position or get promoted? Right? Learning opportunities. How do you get better so that you can advance your career? And then what sets this company apart from your competitors? So if you're between Target or Walmart or Hospital A and Hospital B, what makes them different, and why should you want to work at this place versus the competitor? How an interviewer answers that question could be a big key on whether or not you would want to take the job. Okay? And before you ask, make sure you let the interviewer mention salary and benefits. By asking about these at the onset, it looks like that's all you care about, and you're not really caring about the company. Company wants company first, you second, all right? Even though you're there to get paid and work on yourself, all right? They want that as the secondary reason that you're there. Okay. The end of the interview. Well, the interviewer will decide when the interview is over. Now, it would be unrealistic for them to keep you more than 1 hour or even 2 hours, depending on the job. Okay, so budget enough time. All right, don't plan anything, directly after your interview. If you know your interview is scheduled 1 to 2, try not to have any plans for a little while. Always thank the interview for their time and their interest. Again, they took their time out of the day to meet you. All right, show them that you're appreciative. Okay. If a job is offered on the spot, ask the interview about a timeline for a decision. You do not, and I repeat, do not have to accept the job on the spot. Okay. Now, ensure the interview has the correct contact and follow-up information. So in case they do want to reach back out to you after the interview, they can. The worst thing that could happen is that they do not have the correct information and they want to contact you, and then you miss out on the job. Okay. And then the candidate should always thank anyone who helped when exiting the building. So after the interview and you're leaving the building, anybody that you may have talked to, secretary, some people answering the phone, custodian or janitor, anybody that you interacted with on the way out, make sure you say hello and thank them for their help during the day. All right. The follow-up. There are 3 more steps to the interview process when the actual face-to-face interview takes place. Okay. First, you need to personally evaluate your performance. What did you do well? What did you not do so well? What can you improve upon? By doing this self-reflection, it will help you in future job interviews to avoid those mistakes. Make sure you send a thank you note. This can be handwritten, typed out, or even an email in these days. Okay? And then you have to be able to learn to handle acceptance or rejection. No high is too high, no low is too low. If you get accepted, it doesn't mean that you're the best ever. But if you get rejected, it doesn't mean you're the worst either. So how do we evaluate our performance? Well, personal reflection is always important for career growth. Evaluating personal performance gives insight into what went well and what needs to be improved. So here's some reflection questions to ask yourself after your interview. Is the job a good match for my skills and my talents? Does the organization's environment look comfortable to work in? Is there a chance for growth in this position? The answers to those questions will impact whether or not you want to work there. Okay? A reflection will prepare a person to respond to a job offer when and if it comes. Okay? So always self-reflect, always evaluate your performance after an interview. Now let's talk about thank you notes. Make sure you prepare a thank you note or a letter for the interview when it's over. This can be an email as well. The letter shows that you're thoughtful, you're conscientious, and you appreciate the opportunity. All right, and thank you notes are another method to sell a candidate or you to the potential employer. All right, the fact that you might send a thank you note and they receive it might give you the edge to somebody that didn't. Right, and also by sending the thank you note, you show that you are appreciative of the opportunity, and that should another one come up, they might just reach out to you directly because you wrote the thank you note and you took the time. Right, so thank you notes can be big. They can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes to write, but can, really make a lasting impression. Okay. Now, acceptance and decline. All right. So remember, even though you go through the interview, doesn't mean that you actually have to accept the job no matter what. Right? Sometimes people go to a job interview to gain the experience. Some people have multiple job interviews that they're looking into. And the interview that you're at could be just a backup, and the job you really want is the other interview you're about to take. So how do you handle acceptance and decline? So remember, when accepting an offer, you do not have to say yes right away. Do not do anything unless it is your job, dream job that you've always wanted and you're very excited for. Okay. Always ask for time to decide, because there's a lot of other factors that you need to think about. You need to be able to get to the job every day. You need to think about your family and your time. You may have to resign from another position. There are things that you're going to have to do in order to transition into that position. All right. So do ask for time to decide so you can get your plan in place. Okay. Always ask for a formal letter of hiring. All right. Never take someone's word for it. All right. Once you get that letter from HR or human resources, you're in. All right. And then you can really put in your resignation in another job. All right. Or make the plans to start your new one. Okay. And always send an acceptance letter. This is different from a thank you note. This just formally accepts the position that you're excited to start. Now, if you're going to decline an offer, which does happen, and there are times when you get chosen for the job, but you all of a sudden decide it's not for you, or you have another opportunity. Okay, you do not have to say no right away. All right, don't say anything negative to the company. Don't mention or why you don't want to work there. Just thank them for the opportunity. Never end on bad terms, because you never know when that job could be hiring again, or you may need to go back to those people. Networking and having a positive network of people, whether they hired you or not, is always a good thing. So never leave on bad terms. Okay. Do take a day to think about it. When you're declining something, you're likely not going to get it back. So you need to think and make sure that you are making the right choice. Okay. And do negotiate the things that you do not like about the job. So maybe if you're going to decline the offer, but you can negotiate some of the things that you don't like about the job and they're willing to work with you, that might change your mind into an acceptance mode. And then at the end, just be polite and always give a reason for the decline, whether you're pursuing another opportunity or you just don't feel that it's going to be a good fit for you, or that your heart's not in the right place. Whatever your decision is, make sure you give them a good, plausible reason. Now, how do we handle rejection? Rejection sucks. From dating to being cut from a team to not getting a job. Anytime we get told in some way that we're not good enough, rejection can stink. All right, everyone battles rejection on some level at some point. Okay, and it can be very difficult, especially when the person is counting on or have their heart set on this particular job. So when you get rejected, don't be rude or negative when hearing the rejection. All right, and just thank them and politely ask why you were not hired. Ask for feedback. Okay? Again, you do not want to end on bad terms, all right? But use it as a learning experience to get to the next job. So if they reject you, just ask for feedback, ask what you can do to be better, and move on. Thank you, students, for watching this video lesson. All right, use the information to be better informed and prepared for your next job interview. All right, it's an exciting time in people's lives, but there are steps and processes that can make your life so much easier in order to get that job that you so desire. All right, so get out there, learn some stuff, practice, prepare, get better, go nail that job interview. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.